The hospital lights looked like soft white clouds on the ceiling. I tried very hard to keep my eyes open. My body felt heavy. It felt like someone had taken a big piece out of me. At first I thought it was the sleepy medicine from the operation. Then a sharp pain hit my side. I gasped. My hand found the bandage. I felt cold all over. I turned my head and saw my mother standing at the foot of the bed. Her arms were crossed. Her face looked hard and distant. My father leaned against the wall and stared at his phone. He did not look at me. I felt confused and scared. What happened? I asked, but my voice broke. I could barely hold it steady. My mother's lips moved like a thin line. Don't make that noise, she said. Be proud. You finally did something useful. Her words sounded like stones. They hit me and hurt. I tried to sit up. Pain stabbed harder through my side. I put my hand to the bandage and my mouth went dry. A chill ran down my back. Did you take my kidney? I asked, but the words were small and shocked. My father looked up for the first time. He smiled like I had said something silly. Relax, he said. You didn't need both. Your sister's boyfriend did. My heart stopped in my chest. I could not believe what I heard. My sister's boyfriend, not even family by blood, had what belonged to me. I felt my face go hot and then cold. I shook my head quickly. You gave him my kidney without asking me? I whispered. My mother leaned closer. Her perfume smelled sharp in the room. Her eyes were colder than anything I had seen. You are a burden, Jenna, she said. You can't keep a job. You don't give this family anything. Tyler is different. He is strong. He will marry my daughter and make us proud. You were never going to do that. Tears blurred my sight. I tried to breathe. I didn't say yes. You had no right, I said. My father laughed. Consent? Don't be silly. We raised you. You owe us. We signed the papers. His voice was flat. He did not feel sorry. He felt like he had one. I felt sick. My legs trembled under the blanket. My own parents had signed something that took a piece of me. They had given it away. I could not believe they would do this. At that moment my sister walked in, arm in arm with Tyler. He looked pale from the operation, but his smile was big and proud. He rolled his shirt up and showed a fresh scar. He wanted praise. He wanted to show that he was the one saved. Don't look so dramatic, my sister said, and she sounded like she was putting on a show. Tyler needed it more. You don't understand what it is like to matter. Tyler's smile was thin but sharp. Being worthless has its perks, he said. At least your kidney was used well. Those words cut me deeper than any stitch. I felt tiny and empty. I could die from this. Did you think of that? I said softly. My sister rolled her eyes. The doctor said you will be fine, she said. She looked to my mother. My mother smiled the way someone smiles after a bargain. If you didn't, we'd only have one child to worry about, my mother said lightly. Less burden. More room for people who matter. Anger rose like hot fire inside me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to pull out the 4 and make them listen. I wanted to make them feel the hurt they gave me. But my body was weak. My voice shook. I bit my lip hard until I tasted blood. I held my pain in like a secret. You traded me for him, I whispered. My father's face went hard. Don't act like a victim, he said. Be grateful you finally helped the family. Tyler is worth more than you will ever be. My sister leaned close. Nobody will believe you, she said. The forms are signed. You will heal quietly and go back to being the servant you always were. Tyler squeezed her hand and smiled wider. "Thanks for the kidney, Jenna," he said. "I'll take care of it better than you took care of your life." The room spun. My chest felt tight. I wanted to shout until my voice broke. But I did not. I promised myself I would not be quiet for long. Even though my body felt weak, something inside me woke up. It was cold, steady, and sure. It promised me a thing: I would take everything back. The next days crawled like slow animals. My body did not heal well. Every move burned. Every time my hand touched the scar, I felt like the mark said, "expendable." My parents acted like nothing had happened. They visited once. Not to see if I was okay. They came to show Tyler off. Mom carried a bouquet and handed it to him like he was the winner of a prize. Melissa kissed him and smiled at me. "You should see what people say," she said. "They call him a fighter. Everyone is happy he's okay." "Where are you?" I asked, voice raw. "What about me?" "I'm the one missing an organ." Dad laughed. "Don't be dramatic. No one needs 2 kidneys. You're fine. Stop trying to steal his spotlight." Steal his spotlight. The words seemed to float in my head. My pain was not mine. It was a small part of Tyler's big story. People cheered him. My scar was just a thing they ignored. When the nurse came by, I tried again to tell someone the truth. But my mother hissed at me like a cat. "Don't embarrass us," she mouthed. "Who will believe you?" We signed. "You can't decide for yourself." My sister spoke loud enough for the nurse to hear. "She always wanted attention. She will be bitter." The nurse gave me a sad smile and left. I felt stuck. My hands were tied by stitches and by lies. I felt like I could not breathe. When they finally let me go home, my parents did not drive me. They made me pay for the taxi. They said Tyler's recovery cost a lot. I held the receipt and the taxi smelled like a different life. I stumbled into my small apartment and lay on the couch. My side hurt. My heart hurt more. Days turned into weeks. Tyler recovered fast. He and Melissa had a small party at my parents' house. Photos went up online. My family smiled in the pictures. Glasses raised. Toasts to Tyler and to his second chance. I stared at those photos on my cracked phone. The caption said, "Family is everything." My hands trembled. One night my sister accidentally left me on a phone call. I heard her voice talking to Tyler and my mother. "She is pathetic," Melissa said. "She limps around like a martyr. We gave her life meaning. Without us she is nothing." Tyler's voice was cold. "She should thank us," he said. My mother laughed. "She'll never fight back. She's always been weak." Their voices scorched me. I dropped the phone like it burnt. Their words could have broken me. Instead, they made something else grow inside me. I kept quiet. I stopped answering calls. I did not cry in front of them. I let the silence make a plan. Silence is not always weakness. Sometimes silence hides a sharp plan. I needed time to heal. I needed time to think. I wanted them to feel the fall, but I did not want to rush. I wanted a careful plan. I wanted them to fall because they were careless and proud. I worked at an admin desk in a small clinic. I filed papers and handled forms all day. It was boring, but it gave me something valuable: access to files. One afternoon, I pulled up a folder and saw the forms from the hospital. My name was on the surgery papers. My parents' names were on the signatures. The paperwork looked sloppy. Things were missing. It looked wrong, like someone wanted to hide the mess. I sat staring at the pages and felt a small smile creep on my face. They had stolen from me, yes. But they were messy thieves. They left tracks. They were too proud and too sure. Pride makes people clumsy. I did not call the police at once. That felt too easy. I wanted them to feel the shame before the law touched them. I made copies of the files. I sent anonymous notes to Tyler's boss. I mailed papers to the hospital board. I forwarded documents to the insurance people. I watched and waited. The reaction was fast. Tyler was called into HR. The company found problems with his insurance paperwork. The hospital opened an investigation. People began to whisper. Tyler's golden shine turned dull. People who had praised him started looking at him with questions. One night my sister called me, frantic. "What did you do?" she screamed. "They are saying Tyler's transplant was stolen. They say it was illegal." My mother cried into the phone and accused me. "You must have set this up," she said. I let them yell. Then I spoke quietly. "You said I would never fight back," I said. "You said I was weak. You were wrong." They shouted threats and curses. They hung up. The next days were harder for them. The hospital asked for the forms. My parents' signatures were there, clear as ink. When asked, they stumbled. They said they did it for the family. For them. They said the right things so they could feel right. But their words were small against the proof. I pushed the story out to the small local papers. I wanted people to know the truth. Parents forged consent. Daughter's kidney given to boyfriend. The headlines were small at first, then bigger. Faces once put on a pedestal were now splashed on pages with shame. When the police came, my parents were not laughing. My father's face went pale. My mother sobbed. My sister begged. Tyler got angry. But the law does not like people who steal from their own child. The night before they had to go to court, my mother came to my door and banged until I opened. She cried and pleaded. "We are your parents," she said. "Blood is blood. Please forgive us." Her sobs sounded like someone trying to cover a hole with tape. I looked at the scar under my shirt. My heart still ached, but something else sat with it now, calm and sure. "You stole my body. You stole my choice. You took my dignity," I said. I did not cry. Blood doesn't make someone respect you. You lost that long ago. I shut the door. She cried into the hallway and left. The next morning I stood outside the courthouse. Reporters crowded my parents as they walked in, faces turned to cameras. People who once laughed at me now watched them walk in like passengers on a sinking ship. I did not say anything to the reporters. I did not need to. That night a small message came from my little nephew, Caleb. He always thought my sister was a queen. He wrote, "I'm proud of you. You showed them they can't treat people like trash." I read it 3 times and then I let the tears come. These were small, quiet tears. They felt clean. The legal process was not simple. Papers, meetings, questions. The hospital had to explain how the surgery went through. The insurance company had to say why they paid. Investigators asked my parents why they signed. The more they tried to explain, the more the truth came out. They tried to say it was for the family. They tried to say it was about survival. But how do you justify taking from one child to give to another when the one you took from did not say yes? There is no good reason for that. The judge looked at the paper trail and at the faces and decided that what they did was wrong. People from the neighborhood who once waved and smiled began to avoid us. The family dinners stopped. People looked at my parents with new eyes. I felt strange watching those I loved lose friends and their good names. Part of me wanted to say, "I did this for you." Part of me also felt sorry that they were losing things they had held so tight. But this was their work. Not mine. When the case was over, my parents and Melissa were not fined in a way that would take all their money. They were not put away for a long time. The law did something, but it could not fix what they had taken. Tyler lost his job. He lost his place as the golden man. He walked smaller than before. People I had known from the clinic came to me. Some were kind. Some were ashamed for how they had smiled at my family before. A few said the right things. They brought warm food and stood with me in quiet moments. Those small acts showed me there were good people left. My body healed slowly. There were days when the scar ached like a string being pulled. There were days when I felt weak. There were days when I cried until my eyes were raw. But I learned to listen to my body and be gentle with it. I went to a doctor who helped me. I went to someone who sat and listened when I needed to talk. Small choices added up. I did not become loud or proud. I became steady. I built small things. I saved a little money. I learned to cook meals that made me feel good. I cleaned my small apartment until corners felt like places I owned. I returned to work when I was ready. People at the clinic looked at me differently now. I could see they respected something in me they had not before. Sometimes at night I would hold my side and remember the hospital lights. I would remember the way my family smiled at Tyler and ignored me. Those memories still stung. But they did not control me. I had taken back my story. I had shown the world the truth. The scar on my side changed meaning. At first it was a mark of pain. Then it became a mark of what I had survived. I started to think of it as a kind of map. A map that said, this is where I hurt. This is where I healed. This is where I grew stronger. My parents' and Melissa's faces were in papers and online posts for a while. People talked about what they did. Some were angry. Some were shocked. Some could not understand how a family could do this. The days passed. People slowly turned back to their lives. For me, life moved forward too. I had to forgive that I could not change the past. Forgiveness did not mean I forgot. It meant I would not carry the anger like a heavy rock every day. I used the anger when it helped me make things right. But I chose to put it down when it would make me bitter. I learned to accept help. Little hands from neighbors, small notes from friends, and messages from people like my nephew Caleb who said he was proud. Those things mattered. They were small lights in a dark house. I kept quiet for a long time, but I also learned to speak when it mattered. I spoke at a small meeting for people who had been hurt by people they trusted. I told my story in simple words. My voice was low, but it was steady. People listened. One woman came up and hugged me and said, "Thank you for saying it out loud." Little by little, I felt more like myself. The scar on my side still reminded me of what happened. But it also showed that I had survived and stood up. I had turned my pain into a truth that others could see. Sometimes I wondered about my parents. I wondered if they felt better after the publicity. I wondered if they learned anything. I do not know. What I learned is more important. People who hurt you can be made small by the truth. The truth shines whether people like it or not. My life was not perfect after that. I had nights when the hurt came back. I had days when I felt lonely. But I also had work that gave me small purpose. I had friends who stayed. I had a nephew who sent me a proud message. And most of all, I had myself. I had the knowledge that when people tried to take you apart, you could find a way to put yourself back together stronger. If you meet someone who thinks they can use other people like objects, remember this: pride makes people careless. Careless people leave tracks. And if you can be patient and steady, sometimes the truth finds a way. It does not always happen fast. It does not always happen clean. But it can happen. When I look in the mirror now, I see a woman with a quiet scar and a steady heart. I see someone who was hurt and who fought back in her own way. I see a woman who learned to use silence like a tool and to speak when it mattered. That promise I made in the hospital, the one that woke up inside me, was true. I took back what they had tried to keep. I did not take from them the way they took from me. I did not become them. I chose justice, not revenge. I chose truth, not spite. This is my story. I share it because it matters. Not because I want attention. Not because I want praise. Because if one person hears this and knows they do not have to stay small, then it was worth telling. When someone treats you like a burden, it does not mean you are one. When people try to decide your life for you, you do not have to accept it. You can be quiet and plan. You can be soft and still be strong. You can heal and you can speak. I still carry the ache sometimes. My scar is still part of me. But I carry more than pain now. I carry my life. I carry a small house I made of careful choices and steady steps. I carry friends who stay. I carry a nephew who will grow with a clearer heart. If you are listening and something inside you hurts, know this: you are not the thing they called you. You are more. You can take time. You can plan. You can find a way. You can heal. And when the time comes, you can make the truth known. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Also comment where you're watching from.